Welcome to Muslim Apologetics Australia. I wanted to be discussing a touchy subject, but you know what? I'm not going to sugarcoat it and wash it down. I'm going to go right into it, and I think it needs to be addressed, and I'm going to be absolutely bold about it. Should we be blaming the rapist or the rape victim? You see, some feminists live in a utopia where they want to look at the world as this lollipop candy place where you could just basically go into the shop, do whatever you want, and basically you should have no consequences or no protocols that you should follow. It just becomes this ridiculous assertion that we have to live in this apparent utopia that they believe in, when the reality is we're not going to live in such a place, and we need to wake up to reality that that's not going to happen unless you want to live on a planet called Mars, where you're not going to live amongst sexual predators. We live in a world, a real world, that is full of sexual predators, and that's why we should take our own precautions against any such consequences. And of course, we need to be totally frank about this. We shouldn't shy away from it. Yes, the blame goes with the victim and the rapist, depending on the circumstances, of course. I'm not going to blame the rape victim if she's sleeping in her home and an intruder walks into her home, breaks into her home and starts raping her. Of course, I'm not going to blame the rape victim. But if the rape victim goes out at night, dress the way she wants to dress, drink as much alcohol she wants to drink, and puts herself in a vulnerable situation, I'm not going to shy away from it. Of course, I'm going to blame the rape victim as well, not just the rapist. But in saying that, it doesn't mean I'm going to punish the rape victim, because she's faced the consequences anyway. I mean, to say that she needs to be punished more than that, of course you're not going to throw her in jail. Of course you're not going to whip her. Of course you're not going to do all of these, you're not going to fine her, When we say, for instance, a woman is to be blamed for, we're basically saying that this is the consequence she's put herself into. And next time she should avoid such altercations. It's plain and simple. You don't take your child, we live in a real world. You don't take your child and put that child in a park and you walk away from it. That park, that playground may be surrounded by pedophiles, by sexual predators. Have you ever heard a family taking their child to a park, leaving them, turning their back and walking away? No. You look after that child, you nurture that child, you keep watch. You keep neighborhood watch of that area just in case something goes wrong. Why do we do that? Because we live in a real world. Maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you could leave your child at a park. You can tell the kids to go and play outside in the neighborhood. And basically, that's how our society used to work. But now we live in a society where kidnapping is all over the place. Sexual predators are all over the place, taking your children, putting them on porn sites, doing pedophilia, selling your children online. So we live in an open field, an open marketplace where there's dangerous people out there. Therefore, why are women any different? I mean, you're probably saying, oh, why are you going after the women? What about the men? Well, you know what? Even as a man, I feel unsafe in certain places as well. Even as a man, with my strength, with my power, I take my precautions. I don't really like to go very late at night to certain places as well, because I fear even for my life. What about women who are more vulnerable than men? Just recently in India, for example, a man was completely blasted on social media because, as you know, India has got huge rape statistics there. It's just uncontrollable. And women are being raped all over the place. And this man basically had enough and he said, because most of these rapes happen late at night after women get drunk and they go out partying and so forth, and they get raped. And basically the man said, what is a woman doing outside by herself 12:30 at night? And he was blasted at social media. You had all these feminist groups come up and say, post on Instagram and Twitter things like, oh, it's 2:30 at night and I'm out, guys. And they basically started attacking this man to say, he doesn't live in a progressive society. He's not a free thinker. He wants to cage the woman at home. But that was just absolutely nonsensical. We don't have a problem with women going outside, but take your precautions. Don't go outside by yourself. If you're going to go outside late at night and you want to have a good time, go with a group of girls at least, to the minimum. And, don't just put yourself in a vulnerable situation, because these sexual predators, they look at the situation. They look at, women are obviously more vulnerable because they have less power than men physically. This is biologically undeniable. But on top of that, you add drugs, then you add alcohol, and she loses focus. And of course, sexual predators, they prey on this. I mean, what do you think why sexual predators use drugs to spike their drinks? They use these mechanisms in order to get the woman drunk so she can lose herself, and of course, get at the same time, the rapist, the sexual predator, takes advantage of that situation. It's interesting that, it's the same argument. These people, they think that, they say things like, we shouldn't blame alcohol. We shouldn't blame drugs. We shouldn't blame what a woman wears. We should just blame the rapist. But hello, when a person does a crime, the first thing that the police officer asks, is this person under the influence of drugs? Is this person under the influence of alcohol? Right? They look at the social environments and see the substances that person has taken. Yes, we should blame these substances. You shouldn't drink as much as you should. As they say, you should drink in moderation. If you're going to get drunk, then you're not going to be aware of your surroundings, which could call and put you in a certain situation where you could get raped, right? And you shouldn't take these drugs that are going to make you lose your mind and lose yourself, where you're not going to be aware of your surroundings, which could call a sexual predator to your attention, where he could actually rape you. So this claim that, we shouldn't blame these substances, we should only blame the rapist, come on, we live in a real world. Let's be realistic about these things. And I think they say these things only because to make it legitimate. You could wear what you want, strip naked as much as you want, you could drink as much as you want, you could take party drugs. We shouldn't, because these people, these party animals, they actually want these things legal. It's like the gun lobby group. The gun lobby group would say to you, guns don't kill people, it's people that kill people. Yeah, that's true, but having more guns and more accessibility to those guns actually put a person in a situation where they could easily kill people, right? Whereas killing a person with a knife is a lot harder, you would think.